guys, SquidLord here, and today I am doing something different. I am going to do a book review, or a few story reviews. So since we are in quarantine because of COVID-19, or the new plague, but jokes aside and everything, it is a somewhat serious issue right now. And at work and at home and everything, I've been bored. So I decided to start getting more into audiobooks. Now, these aren't your normal audiobooks. I decided to start getting into readings of H.P. Lovecraft's work. Yeah, it was mainly because of Call of Cthulhu and me eventually forcing myself to want to pursue more of that kind of works. It's because I'm a very imaginative person. And so it makes it really easy for me to imagine or come up with some artistic concepts of, his indescribable cosmic horror shit. And I really enjoy going through and listening to all of it, because it's not only is the YouTube channel that I'm going to recommend and everything, which is Horror Babble, is they not only read it very swell, it's just the stories that I like are very intriguing for me, and it is beyond real. So I'll go through some of the a handful of my favorites, because I've only gone through a few days worth of books. So right now, one of my favorite H.P. Lovecraft works is the Complete Dream Cycle. And I know it's not an official thing. It's a bundle of his dream-based stories. And Horror Babble here, go subscribe to them and everything, does a really good job of illustrating these interesting scenes. Now, this is a 9-hour long video of them reading. I've gotten to about The Strange High House in the Mist. I've gotten to that, and Through the Gates. Almost finished this whole series. Out of this set here, I would have to say my favorites are The White Ship, let's see here, Azathoth, The Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath. That whole series is just absolutely fucking amazing. And you definitely have to go through this whole set in order to really grasp the whole setup of the Dream Quest. Because once you listen or read the Dream Quest, it sets up everything. Especially if you really read the White Ship before you go into the Dream Quest, because the White Ship sets up everything and lets you know, as well as the Cats of Ulthar. It kind of pans into it a bit, because this whole set of stories kind of feeds into each other, because they all set up this dreamscape world. Because in this series, there's people that are able to go into a dream world called dreamers. And what happens is if you're very versed in the occult and very I don't know, I would say like highly intellectual in a sense. You're able to explore this dream world, and it is called the dream world of Earth. And what happens is when you go to sleep, you have basically an ethereal body that goes and shows up into this dream world, and you can explore this whole dreamscape basically, and it's made up of a fuck ton of places, and it is highly connected to the other gods, the earthly gods, and it is really insane. And that there can be some horrific shit in there, but there's also very like highly dreamscape places in there as well. And in this whole HP Lovecraft kind of works, if you die, you become your dream self, and you're able to explore this dream world as your afterlife, which is really interesting because also in this little afterlife scenario, you can die in the afterlife, in a sense. Like, you don't have to have substance or anything. It seems like you can die at some point because bits in the dream quest, you know, the protagonist is fearing for his life at some point, and he's like, and he brings it up quite a few times that he's been dead for eons now. So it just brings a whole nother like artistic flair to the afterlife, because a lot does happen and time does pass quite a bit, and it does get quite ridiculous. And not gonna lie, is why I really love it, because it goes from being cosmic horror to just absolutely batshit silly. And like, it's just absolutely absurd how much like this stuff is really, like, how much of it makes you really wonder like about stuff, and how much of it makes you creative in a sense. Because like once I sat down and started like listening to HP Lovecraft's work, it you know, makes me more creative in a sense. Like mentally, it puts me in a more creative mood, because it's just so bizarre. And I would have to say this whole these sets are my favorite. The Outsider is another like, oh, I wouldn't expect that kind of thing, because it just has a huge twist that you can kind of see coming, but it's kind of sad. Sad for the protagonist in the way, and it's another one of my favorites. And it's just, oh my god, like the first HP Lovecraft story I actually got heard of was The Tree on the Hill, and this is what started this whole descent into all of this. Because The Tree on the Hill here is really nice and really interesting as a story. And it's about this tree that's on a hill that's just, something always seems to be off about it. And a guy goes over to investigate it, and you'll find out from there. It's really interesting, and it really sets up for what to really expect from HP Lovecraft's work. Because this work, if you have a very imaginative mind, or you're creative in any sense, you can definitely like mentally piece together what's going on, and it is quite interesting to see what it all is. Another one that's mind melding in a sense is Beyond the Wall of Sleep. And this is just talking about like dreams and like drug induced dreams because in this story they talk about, you know, using opioids and stuff to dream longer and everything, because this guy because it just is existential like talk about dreaming and life and death and all this other stuff that's does get quite interesting, and like mentally it's just a trip. Not as much as a trip as the Dream Quest. Like the Dream Quest set seems to be more of like the most fantasy like set of stories that I've heard of right now from Lovecraft, which is, I wouldn't mind like having more of that because it is really nice. Now I've only been able to like go through a few days worth of this stuff. So give me time, I'll eventually make it through all of his works, but these are just my favorites so far. Dagon is another interesting one that I have like listened to, and I've kind of just like, oh, you know, this is nice to have and everything, and I don't know, it's like it had an interesting ending. It just really didn't settle with me as like the best. But these are all my personal opinions because honestly I wanted to do something that's different from normal gameplay content, and I figured why not, you know, let's do a thing over books, see how this goes down. So you should really give Horror Babble a shout out, your support and everything. They do really nice work. They not only read H.P. Lovecraft stuff, this is just their playlist that they have. They also read other stories as well, and you should just really go check them out. And if you enjoy this video, please drop a like, subscribe, ring a notification bell. And if you want to see more of this, you know, book review content, let me know in the comments down below, because I'd be really interested in seeing this. Because if we manage to do more like book review kind of stuff, that would be interesting. A change of pace. Because normally, you know, it's just gameplay. Either video gameplay or card gameplay. So if it's gonna be different, then why not be different? And also, if you happen to enjoy H.P. Lovecraft stuff, why don't you go check out my Call of Cthulhu gameplay series. It'll be linked up there in the icon. It's a pretty good series so far. I finished it now. You guys probably won't have seen the ending by now, but if you're watching this in the future, then the ending's probably already out and you're gonna get to enjoy the whole gameplay series. So please enjoy it. And you know, might make some comparisons and contrasts from not only Call of Cthulhu, the H.P. Lovecraft story, but the game as well. But as always, guys, keep up the shenanigans. I'll see you in the next video.